Hello students. Next we will look into the Fourier transform of elementary functions. We'll first start with impulse function delta t. So x of t is equal to delta t. Therefore, the equation of x omega that we know is to integrate from minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e raised to power minus j omega t dt, where if I substitute now delta t instead of xt, I will get delta t e raised to power minus j omega t dt. Okay, now we know from definition of impulse function, we already know that any impulse function, if we multiply it with any factor, we will basically get, so delta t multiplied with e raised to power minus j omega t, it is as good as writing delta t e raised to power minus j omega t at t is equal to 0, which we all know, if we put t is equal to 0, then we can write this to be equal to e raised to power 0 or minus 0, which is actually 0, which is equal to 1. Okay, so therefore x of omega is equal to integral from minus infinity to infinity delta t into 1 dt, which is basically integral of minus infinity to infinity delta t dt, correct? But we have already studied about the delta function, that the area under the delta function is always equal to 1. Therefore x of omega is equal to 1. So we will write, as a result, we will write delta t Fourier transform will give me 1. Okay, now whenever I find out the value, it is very important to find out what is its magnitude and what is its face value. So I'll be interested to find out the magnitude of x of omega, which, as you can see, since it is 1, it is 1, and the angle of x of omega is going to be 0 because it's a simple real value. So there is no phase angle in it, and the magnitude is 1. So how do we draw it? The drawing part is very important. So in the time axis, this is delta t, so this is x of t, and x of t, we know that it is equal to delta t, and we know how to draw delta t, correct? We draw it like this, and we also plot in x of magnitude of x of omega and the angle of x of omega, correct? Now if you want to draw, obviously the magnitude of x of omega is 1, so throughout, for all values of omega, its value is going to be equal to 1, whereas the value is going to be equal to 0 for the case of the angle. So the angle is 0 at all times, at all frequencies, sorry. So this is the Fourier transform of a impulse function. Similarly, we will do other functions. The next function that we are going to look is single-sided real exponential function. So first we will write the function x of t is equal to e raised to power minus at u of t. Next, then we will find out through equation what is x of omega, which we write in equation as minus infinity to infinity x of t e raised to power minus j omega t dt, where x of t can be substituted as e raised to power minus at u of t e raised to power minus j omega t dt. Now we know that u of t is basically extending from 0 to infinity. That means its value is equal to 1 at t greater than or equal to 0, and at less than 0 its value is 0. Therefore, applying this principle, we can write, therefore x of omega will now become, so minus infinity to infinity is there, whereas here instead of u of t I will substitute 1, but that is only for t greater than 0. So the limit will automatically change from 0 to infinity. So I will change from minus infinity. Instead of that, I will write from 0 to infinity, and then the remaining portion, these two can be joined together using the principle of e raised to power a into e raised to power b is equal to e raised to power a plus b. So using this concept, I will join these two together. So you can see that I will get t common, and then a plus j omega I can get. So I will write this into e raised to power minus of a plus j omega t dt, and we know that the integration will be e raised to power minus a plus j omega t divided by minus of a plus j omega with the limit of 0 to infinity. Therefore, I will get x of omega is equal to e raised to power minus infinity minus e raised to power 0 divided by minus of a plus j omega, which is e raised to power minus infinity 0 minus 1 divided by minus of a plus j omega, where the minus at the top and bottom will cancel off, and you will get x of omega as 1 by a plus j omega. This now I will write it as the formula you all know. Therefore we will write e raised to power, therefore e raised to power minus a t u of t can be written as, or can have a Fourier transform, as 1 by a plus j omega. Now one thing you have to remember is the magnitude of x of omega, which is in this case the magnitude of 1 divided by a plus j omega. We know that the magnitude of the numerator will be 1. The magnitude of the denominator will be, since it's a complex number, a square plus omega square divided by, under root. This is the magnitude. And the angle of x omega you can write as the angle of 1, that is numerator, minus the angle of a plus j omega. The angle of 1 is obviously 0, minus the angle of a plus j omega will be tan inverse of the imaginary portion omega divided by the real portion a. Okay, therefore the final answer for magnitude will be minus tan inverse of omega by a. So now we need to plot. So if I am trying to plot this, first I will draw the axis. So in the time axis, e raised to power minus at u of t, e raised to power minus at u of t in time axis. So this is the time axis. If I have to draw that, then obviously up to 0 its value will be 0. After that its value will suddenly rise, and then e raised to power minus 80 means slowly it will decay. Slowly it will decay. And this maximum value is basically 1 because it is e raised to power minus 80. So this I will write it as e raised to power minus 80 u of t. When I take the Fourier transform of the same, if I take the Fourier transform of the same, I will get x omega magnitude. If I am trying to draw this, you can try to draw this. If you put the value of omega is equal to 0 here, you will get 1 by a, and then as the value of omega increases, the denominator also increases, so the net value of x of omega will basically reduce. That happens in the case of both omega positive as well as negative. So you will find out that the magnitude basically looks like this, with its maximum height let me draw it more neatly, with its maximum height at 1 by a. How did I get 1 by a? As I already told, if you would substitute omega is equal to 0 here, you will get the value of x of omega magnitude as 1 by a, and that 1 by a I have written. So that is happening at t is equal to 0. As omega goes to infinity, this denominator will go to infinity and the total value of x of omega will basically go close to 0, and that is what we have basically drawn here. I have not touched 0 because 0 will be touching only at omega is equal to infinity. Next, if I have to draw the phase of the same, the phase is basically given by this equation. Let me write it side, otherwise it may get overlapped. So I will write it like here itself. I will write that this is going to be equal to minus tan inverse of omega by a, minus tan inverse of omega by a. In that case, if I am going to draw, you can see if I am going to put omega is equal to 0, tan inverse of 0 by a is basically 0, is going to be 0 itself, and then as the value of omega goes for positive values, this value will basically slowly move towards angle 90 degree, minus 90 degree. So I will draw that as it goes from 0, it basically goes to a negative 90, which is minus pi by 2 value. Okay, and if I am going to put negative omega value, then basically it will have a positive pi by 2 value. So you can try to put several values and you can try to see what the values are, and you will see that its maximum value will come out to be pi by 2, and this is our angle x of omega, the phase angle of x of omega. Next we will go for the next function. The next function is, in a double-sided exponential function, it is given that x of t is basically equal to e raised to power minus a t. When I say e raised to power minus a magnitude of t, it means that whether the t is positive or negative, it's going to be decaying. That means if you are going to take any axis, whether it's positive t or whether it's negative t, the value is always going to be a decaying function. So it will be drawn something like this in this side and something like this in the negative. Both sides it will be basically decaying function. So with that idea, we will basically try to find out then x of omega is basically, we write the equation integral minus infinity to infinity x of t e raised to power minus j omega t It's as we will substitute the value of x of t as e raised to power minus a magnitude of t into e raised to power minus j omega t dt. So in that case, I can now expand it. I can now expand it into two portions. One is from minus infinity to 0. It is basically, if you remember, I had drawn like this, isn't it? So from minus infinity to 0, it is basically a rising function. So I will write e raised to power a t and the remaining e raised to power minus j omega t dt, and then from 0 to infinity it's a decaying function, again e raised to power minus at e raised to power minus j omega t dt, from which I can write x of omega as x of omega is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity, and see, not infinity to infinity, minus infinity to 0, sorry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both of this. You know that multiplication means basically adding up the powers, which is a and minus j omega t. So that I will put in bracket and I will write it as e raised to power a minus j omega of t dt plus the integral from 0 to infinity of e raised to power minus a plus j omega of t dt. You can check it. Now if I am going to do the integration, I will get x of omega is equal to integral of e raised to power a minus j omega t divided by a minus j omega plus e raised to power minus a plus j omega of t divided by minus of a plus j omega with the limit from minus infinity to 0 and from 0 up to infinity. Therefore, x of omega will now be equal to, I will write this as e raised to, let me write it properly, e raised to power 0 minus e raised to power minus infinity divided by a minus j omega, okay, and plus e raised to power minus infinity, because I'm going to substitute t is equal to infinity, so it is going to be e raised to power minus infinity minus e raised to power 0 divided by minus of a plus j omega. Okay, from here I will get 1 minus 0, so it is going to be 1 divided by a minus j omega, and plus here it is going to be 0 minus 1. Okay, 0 minus 1, therefore minus 1 divided by minus of this means it will become plus, so 1 divided by a plus j omega, and we know that when we do this we will get x of omega cross multiplying, we will get a plus j omega plus a minus j omega divided by a square minus j omega the whole square, and we know that this will become 2a, and the denominator I will have a square and minus of j square is minus 1, so that minus and this minus, both of them will basically cancel off, and I will get plus omega square. Therefore I can write as e raised to power the e raised to power minus of a magnitude of t, the Fourier transform will be 2a divided by a square plus omega square. Next, let us plot it. Let us plot this. But before we draw it, we have to find out the magnitude of x of omega, isn't it? So what is going to be the magnitude of x of omega? The magnitude of x of omega, as you can see, this is a real value, totally real value. So I will have magnitude of omega is equal to 2a divided by a square plus omega square. Okay, and what will I have as the phase angle? Let me move this figure down. The magnitude is the same, whereas the angle of x omega, since there is no imaginary values here, the angle is going to be 0. So based on that, if I am going to draw, so first in the time domain I will have to draw a double-sided exponentially decaying function. So I will draw it like this, and in the other side, the other decaying function, I will draw it like this. So it's a double-sided decaying function which is in time. So this is e raised to power minus a magnitude of t, and for the magnitude as well as the phase angle, the magnitude of x of omega, if you would want to draw, if you would draw this, you will find out that you can put the value of omega is equal to 0 here, then you will get 2 by a as the maximum value, and then as the value of omega increases, this value will keep on decreasing. As the value of omega increases, the value will keep on decreasing. The maximum value will be at omega is equal to 0. If you would substitute omega is equal to 0, you will get 2 by a, and then its value keeps on reducing, and since it's omega square, whatever happens in the minus axis, positive axis, happens in the negative axis also. So basically it can be drawn something like this. So this is basically having a maximum amplitude of 2 by a. Okay, now if you would look at the phase angle, the phase angle is basically 0. So I will draw a 0 line like this. So the value of angle f x of omega is going to be equal to 0. So this was for double-sided double-sided real exponential function. Okay, so both sides it is decaying. Next we will look into the next function. Next we will look into the Fourier transform of constant amplitude A. Now the issue with constant amplitude A is when we are drawing the curve, the constant amplitude A means a line which basically has an amplitude of A. Okay, now we can see that the integration under this curve, if this is going to be from minus infinity to plus infinity, the value will come out to be infinity. So the thing is that the constant amplitude A cannot be absolutely integrable. So we have to employ a different method to find the answer. We know that x of t is equal to a is not absolutely integrable. So we use another technique, and that is to go from, like generally we go from x of t to omega, x of omega, isn't it? And what we are trying to do here is we will first say that there is some x of omega, and when we try to find out its x of t will come out to be a, and that is what we are basically going to do. So we will start, let x of omega is equal to delta omega. That means we are saying that assume that there is a omega function which is basically which is basically having a value delta omega. Next we are going to find out what is x of t for this x of omega, and for that we use the inverse Fourier transform, which is basically given by that you can get x of t if you know x of omega, and using the formula x of t is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of omega e raised to power j omega t d omega. Now for our case x of omega is delta omega, correct? So I will write 1 by 2 pi minus infinity to infinity delta omega e raised to power j omega t d omega. Okay, now we know by principle that any function, let it be, in omega, if we are going to multiply it with delta omega, it's as good as taking the value of the function at 0. So x of t will basically become 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity delta omega into e raised to power j0, which I will just write it as 0 d omega. Correct? Now what is e raised to power 0? E raised to power 0 is 1. So I will get 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity delta omega into d omega. And what is this? This is area under delta omega, and we all know what is that area under delta omega or delta function. It is 1. So this comes out to be 1 by 2 pi. Thus we can say that if you have a function which is having 1 by 2 pi as the value, which is a constant value, then the Fourier transform of that, I will write it like this, is basically delta omega. Then if that is the case, then I can say that then 1 is going to be equal to, the Fourier transform will be basically, if you take it the other side, if you multiply it with 2 pi, then I will get 2 pi here delta omega, and the 2 pi here will get cancelled this side. Okay, therefore I can write, if I multiply with a, then any function a, the Fourier transform of that will be 2 pi a times delta omega, a times delta omega. So how do we plot it? If we have a constant function a, then the Fourier transform of that will be an impulse at omega is equal to 0 with the value of the delta function to be 2 pi a. So this is what is basically a Fourier transform of a constant function. What does this mean? It means that the frequency of this particular constant function is 0. You can see that this is basically a DC signal, isn't it? This is basically a DC signal. And what does this mean? It means it has 0 frequency. It means that it has no frequency. DC signal has 0 frequency. This is something that we should remember from this, that the DC signal has 0 frequency. I'm writing it properly. DC signal has 0 frequency. So whenever we say that there is a DC signal, it means that the signal is having the frequency 0. Its complete value is in 0. That's why you will see that only one impulse function, and that also at 0, no other value. Okay. Next is a very important function, which is the complex exponential function e raised to power j omega t. Again, e raised to power j omega t is not absolutely integrable, so we will use again the technique that we used previously. And the technique is to basically start from x of omega is basically equal to delta omega minus omega naught. So we are assuming that this is our x of omega. Then we know the equation of finding x of t. The x of t is basically 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity x of t e raised to power j omega t d omega. Sorry, should be omega, x of omega, where we substitute 1 by 2 pi minus infinity to infinity x of omega. We substitute delta omega minus omega naught e raised to power j omega t d omega. We know the function, we know this particular rule about delta function or impulse function, that if you multiply any function with, if you multiply any function, let's say y of omega, with this, then it is as good as writing delta omega minus omega naught into y of omega naught. That means since this exists only at omega naught, so it's as good as writing it as y of omega naught, and that's what we are going to do here. Therefore x of t is going to be equal to 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity delta omega minus omega naught into e raised to power j omega naught t d omega. Okay, where now since it is omega naught, I can take it outside the bracket, outside the integration. So e raised to power j omega naught t divided by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity delta omega minus omega naught into d omega, which is basically 1. The integration is 1, so I will get e raised to power j omega naught t divided by 2 pi. Okay, so therefore I can write that e raised to power j omega naught t divided by 2 pi gives me, Fourier transform of that gives me delta omega minus omega naught, or I can write e raised to power j, so let me write it in a different color because this is the final result. So e raised to power j omega naught t is going to, if you multiply this with 2 pi, then the 2 pi in the denominator will cancel, and here 2 pi will come, and then you will have delta omega minus omega naught. And if you would actually try, so if suppose this is minus, this was for plus, you got minus, and similarly if you go for minus, you will get a plus here. So this thing you have to remember. Okay, so if it is plus, it will go minus, and if it is minus, it will go plus. You can do the thing again by putting here delta omega plus omega naught. You can substitute that and you can see what will basically happen, and you will get the similar result. Okay, so if it is plus, you have to use minus. If it is a minus, you have to use plus. Next is cosine waveform cos omega t. We know that x of t, that is cos omega t, cos omega naught t, can be written in using Euler's function as e raised to power j omega naught t plus e raised to power minus j omega naught t divided by 2. But we already know that e raised to power j omega naught t is the Fourier transform of that just now we saw is delta omega minus omega naught, delta omega minus omega naught. Therefore e raised to power j, and I should write here plus and minus, so it becomes minus and plus. So therefore e raised to power j omega naught t divided by 2 will give me 1 by 2 delta omega minus omega naught and e raised to power minus j omega naught t divided by 2 will basically give me 1 by 2 delta omega plus omega naught. Therefore, I'm sorry, I forgot a pi here. So I should write pi delta omega. For plus it will be minus, and for minus it will be plus omega naught. So this one will be also pi by 2, this will be also pi by 2. Sorry, it is 2 pi. Therefore this 2 will not be there. Okay, so from this, therefore I can say that cos of omega naught t is going to be giving a Fourier transform of pi times delta omega minus omega naught plus delta omega plus omega naught. Next we will see for the case of sine. So next is the 7th one is sine function. So sine function, again it is going to be sine omega naught t, let's say, and we know that sine omega naught t can be written as e raised to power j omega naught t minus e raised to power minus j omega naught t divided by 2j. Okay, therefore e raised to power j omega naught t, we know, plus minus, so I should not write therefore, I should write because. So because e raised to power plus minus j omega naught t is going to be 2 pi delta omega minus plus omega naught. Therefore e raised to power j omega naught t divided by 2j is basically 2 will basically cancel off, and I will get pi by j. Okay, pi by j, then delta omega minus omega naught, and similarly e raised to power minus j omega naught t divided by 2j will basically give me pi by j delta omega plus omega naught. Okay, therefore if I combine both of this, I can take j to the numerator. If I take it to the numerator, it will become minus j. So with that in mind, I can basically take j to the numerator. So I will get, therefore, sine omega naught t. If you would try to find out the Fourier transform, the j will come to the numerator, so it will become minus j pi, and then the remaining portion is delta omega minus omega naught minus delta omega plus omega naught. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform of a sine function. This, if you would like to plot, we will basically plot it like, so for sine omega naught t, if I am going to plot this, you can see that I can directly get two delta functions. One is at omega naught, where this one, it is minus j pi. And for this one, that is the one that we have drawn here, for this delta function which is at minus omega naught, the amplitude will be minus and minus plus j pi. Similarly, we can draw for the case of cos that we have drawn here. Here it will be just having two delta functions having an amplitude of pi for the case of cos. Let us draw that one also. So here we are having sine of omega naught, sorry, cos of omega naught also drawn with its Fourier transform.